Anger is one of the most common and powerful emotions that we experience. It can cause us to say or do things that we regret later, hurt ourselves or others, and create stress and conflict in our lives. But what if I told you that anger can also be a source of wisdom? That you can use your anger as a catalyst for positive change and growth? That's what Zen wisdom teaches us. Anger is like a blazing flame that burns up our self-control and causes us to say and do things that we regret later. When someone is angry, we can see clearly that he or she is abiding in hell. Anger and hatred are the materials from which hell is made. A mind without anger is cool, fresh, and sane. The absence of anger is the basis of real happiness, the basis of love and compassion. So how can we transform our anger into wisdom? How can we cool down our mind and cultivate love and compassion? In this video, I will share with you the Zen wisdom steps on how to do that. But before we get into that, let me first define what anger and wisdom mean from a Zen perspective. Anger is a strong feeling of displeasure, hostility, or antagonism towards someone or something that we perceive as a threat, an injustice, or a harm. Anger is often triggered by our expectations, judgments, attachments, or aversions. Anger is a natural and normal emotion, but it can also be very destructive if we let it control us. Anger can cloud our judgment, impair our communication, damage our relationships, and harm our health. Anger can also prevent us from seeing the truth, understanding ourselves and others, and finding peace and happiness. Wisdom, on the other hand, is the ability to see things as they are, not as we want them to be. Wisdom is the ability to understand the nature of reality, the causes and effects of our actions, and the interdependence of all things. Wisdom is the ability to discern what is beneficial and what is harmful, what is skillful and what is unskillful, what is wholesome and what is unwholesome. Wisdom is the ability to act with compassion, kindness, and generosity, without being attached to the outcome. Wisdom is the ability to learn from our experiences, especially from our mistakes and failures. Wisdom is the ability to transform our suffering into happiness, our ignorance into enlightenment, and our anger into wisdom. So how can we transform our anger into wisdom? Here are the Zen wisdom steps that you can follow. 1. Mindfulness meditation. The first step is to practice mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is a technique that helps us become more aware of our thoughts, feelings, sensations, and surroundings in the present moment, without judging them or reacting to them. Mindfulness meditation can help us calm our mind, relax our body, and reduce our stress. Mindfulness meditation can also help us recognize our anger when it arises and observe it with curiosity and compassion instead of identifying with it or suppressing it. By doing so, we can create some space between us and our anger and prevent it from taking over us. 2. Understanding the cause of anger. The second step is to understand the cause of our anger. Anger is not something that comes from outside, but something that comes from inside. Anger is not caused by other people or situations, but by our own thoughts and perceptions. Anger is not a fixed or permanent state, but a temporary and changing phenomenon. Anger is not who we are, but what we feel. By understanding these truths, we can realize that our anger is not as solid or real as we think, and that we have the power to change it. We can also realize that our anger is often based on false or distorted assumptions, unrealistic expectations, or unmet needs. By investigating the root cause of our anger, we can challenge our beliefs, adjust our expectations, or express our needs in a constructive way. 3. Practicing compassion and empathy. The third step is to practice compassion and empathy. Compassion is the feeling of wanting to relieve the suffering of ourselves and others. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Compassion and empathy can help us deal with our anger in two ways. First, they can help us soften our anger towards ourselves and forgive ourselves for being angry. We can realize that we are not bad or evil for feeling angry, but human and imperfect. We can also realize that our anger is a sign of our pain and that we need to take care of ourselves and heal our wounds. Second, they can help us soften our anger towards others and forgive them for making us angry. We can realize that they are not our enemies or villains, but human and imperfect as well. We can also realize that they are suffering too, and that they need our understanding and kindness, not our hatred and resentment. 4. Learning from anger. The fourth and final step is to learn from our anger. Anger can be a great teacher if we are willing to listen and learn. Anger can teach us about ourselves, our values, our needs, and our boundaries. Anger can teach us about others, their perspectives, their feelings, and their motivations. Anger can teach us about life, its challenges, its opportunities, and its lessons. By learning from our anger, we can grow as a person, improve our relationships, and enhance our well-being. We can also use our anger as a fuel for positive change by channeling it into constructive actions that benefit ourselves and others. These are the Zen wisdom steps on how to transform your anger into wisdom. By following these steps, you can turn your anger from a curse into a blessing, from a problem into a solution, from a weakness into a strength. You can also experience more peace, joy, and harmony in your life. But how can you apply these steps in your everyday life? Here are some practical tips that you can use. 1. When you feel angry, take a few deep breaths and pause before you speak or act. This will help you calm down and avoid saying or doing something that you might regret later. 2. When you feel angry, try to identify the source of your anger and ask yourself, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I expecting? What am I needing? This will help you understand your anger better and address it more effectively. 3. When you feel angry, try to put yourself in the other person's shoes and ask yourself, how would I feel if I were in their situation? What might they be thinking, feeling, expecting, or needing? This will help you empathize with them and communicate with them more respectfully. 4. When you feel angry, try to see the positive side of your anger and ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I use this anger for good? This will help you turn your anger into wisdom and action. These are some of the tips that you can use to apply Zen wisdom in your everyday life. Of course, these are not easy or quick fixes, but they are worth trying and practicing. The more you practice, the more you will see the results. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something valuable from it. If you did, please share it with your friends and family. Also, watch this video.